very much, and thanks for inviting me, and thank you, as I've said before, to Christina and all of the people involved in Restless Minds. You should be proud of it. It's a really beautiful anthology. So what I thought I'd do is just read you, I don't know how long you wanted, about 10 minutes?
However long you want.
Yes. 10 minutes, perhaps. Half an hour is pushing. I just read you a couple of little stories. The story in Restless Minds is about music, so this is a very little story about music. I apologise to those of you who've already heard it. I just repeat myself endlessly. But this story is called Contact, which is spelt Kontakte, which is the German spelling of contact. All you really need to know in advance is that contact, spelt that way, is also the name of an electronic piece of music by the rather mad composer Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. And in a way, this story was an attempt to write something which is not only partly about that piece of music, but kind of simulates its cadences and its rhythms within the language itself. So this is Contact. Derek came in from the cold and sat down on the bed. Derek got up from the bed and went to make a coffee. Derek gave up making a coffee and sat back on the bed. The kettle boiled unregarded. Derek sat in the dark. Derek got up again and stepped over to the stereo. He pressed play on the tape recorder. He sat back on the bed. In the dark, on the bed, Derek was surrounded by Karl-Heinz Stockhausen's electronic music. There were pings, crunches, and strangely comic doings. One of the neighbours may or may not have banged on the wall to tell Derek to shut his Stockhausen up. He couldn't be sure whether it was the neighbour or the tape. Derek sat in the dark on the bed. The kettle boiled dry and faded into the music. The tape ended. Derek was going to get up, but didn't. The tape automatically rewound itself and started again. Derek sat in the dark. The tape finished a second time, rewound itself and started again. Derek sat in the dark. After a few hours, things started to lunge out of the music at him. After a few hours, he thought he heard the dog from upstairs woofing amongst the white noise. After another hour, he thought he heard the ducks in Acton Park, Stockhausen ducks. Derek sat in the dark. There were whispers from hell. There were cars and lorries and a teleport in Star Trek and yesterday's indigestion. Then there was his mother's voice on the crackly line from Australia, telling him to keep away from that bobble hat girl. Then there was his own voice telling that bobble hat girl to keep away from him, her asking why and he arguing back, telling her it didn't matter how old he was, how old she was, how much he liked spotting her bobble hat from the Uxbridge Road, how far away his mother was, and so on and so forth. The fact was that feeding ducks together in Acton Park was no basis for a long-term relationship, since his mother didn't approve of ducks, Acton, parks, bobble hats, the Uxbridge Road, and any combination thereof. You're better off sticking to your tapes, the crackly voice said from down under, than gallivanting round feeding ducks of all and sundry. Derek sat in the dark, sticking with his tapes. After another few hours, it was trying to get light outside the windows. The music just sounded like white noise again. Derek got up from the bed. He had a bit of a headache. He walked over to the stereo. He pressed the stop button. The stop button was jammed. He pressed it again. It didn't budge. The tape rewound itself. Derek stood for a moment, wondering what to do, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Stockhausen started again. Derek sighed and sat back down on the bed.